Lesson 2. Going Tech. All right, so within the Future Talk book, I discuss how we may apply technology to our very basic idea, even if you are not a tech wizard. So you will not be required to start with or spend a fortune to get started. And I think that's the misnomer. A lot of individuals and companies think that you have to have this huge fortune just to either validate your idea or to develop a minimum viable product. You do not. Just do it. Use what's available to you. Assemble the company, and the only capital that you will need would maybe be setup fees, so to register for websites, to gain access to software, and then obviously the greatest currency that you will have available to you will be that of your customers, i.e., you've now developed something that they want, you can take it to market, and you could essentially generate revenues. So again, your costs may be around website plugins, templates, and APIs, but that's what you will use to get started. And many companies use it continually after making a fortune. They just simply improve it. As we mentioned in the book, there are industry-specific templates and plugins and different platforms available for you. And if you don't know how to do this, I would highly suggest hiring a developer or software engineer or programmer. Each of these individuals, and sometimes they are used interchangeably or synonymously, but they each have different functions. They will tell you what to do and how to do it because everyone's situation is going to be unique. There are no two scenarios alike. Very close, and that's why the templates exist, but there's no one size fits all. If you have someone who is going to assist you in building out your project, they will be able to tell you not only what software you will need, but if you need to hire more of these guys, they will tell you which one and for what. You want to essentially leverage your time, leverage someone else's knowledge, which thus, saves you time. And of course, leverage other people's skill set and benefit from the capital savings, i.e., if you go onto, let's say, a remote platform such as Freelancer or Upwork or Fiverr, you should be able to find someone competent that can assist you at the stage where you are today. And afterwards, you may want to get someone a little bit more expensive, someone domestic, someone who can take this thing apart and put it back together. Got it? And the benefit about using anything on this list, in terms of the websites, the plugins, or even going to Upwork and getting one of these guys to assist you, is the pricing's attractive. So if it fails, the project, you can fail fast and you don't have to spend a fortune, you don't lose a fortune, and you can rebuild or make whatever corrections to your idea that you need in order to make it a hit. Because in most cases, it's not that it's a bad idea. It's usually, you have the wrong market or the price point or just minimal adjustments that you can make that would make it a bit more appealing to your audience or an audience that would find the current offer attractive. And if no one does, then you may need to rethink it or rebuild the offer. So don't try to install or develop the tech yourself. Hire a professional developer. I like to hire within India and Bangladesh, sometimes Philippines, and India is most expensive of those three. And, Pakistan, it's affordable, and that could also be an option for many people if you're open to it. Typically, I like to pay my workers approximately $100 for each stage of development. That could be per page, that could be for something on the back end, that could be to gather some more data or to do research. There's a gazillion different things that will go on when you do your project, but you just won't have the time to do all of it. I tried to do all of it. You can, but it's just not as efficient as what it could be if you were to bring in a team. An example would be a project with 5 stages. If you're paying, $100 per stage, you would then pay $500. And that is applicable to smaller stages too, however you decide you want to break it up. All right, and again, here are those platforms in which we just discussed. Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer. You can go on here. You will have to have your profile in order. So in a lot of cases, there are verifications to make sure you are who you say you are and that you have a company. In some cases, you may not need a company. They just really want to check you out, and they will require for you to pay in advance. So if you post for a job. You're offering, let's say, $100. And then someone shows up and says, I'll take it. I would like that job. And you say, okay, you're hired. When you hit hire, the system should demand of you to already have one of your credit cards or debit cards or company cards attached. And then from there, they will just draw out the amount that would be due to the worker, and they would place it in their form of escrow. Once the task is completed, the worker would be able to share that information with you. You give it a look over, ask for any ameliorations that you think would be appropriate. And once those changes have taken place, or, anything that they need to touch upon, as long as you're satisfied, terrific. This is applicable for books, software, websites. I mean, you can do it all. Once you are satisfied with whatever it is that you're working on, you hit pay and it releases payment. But that's it. Afterwards, there's no sucking it back in if you're not happy with everything. So just make sure that everything is in good order and that, your freelancer understands what it is that you're looking to achieve up front. You do not want to get into one of these projects and the guy can't do it, or he says, I didn't understand. And I will share this with you. I believe I mentioned it in one of the previous slides or one of the other lessons, but I have yet to meet anyone within this industry to say that they could not do something. That's not to say that they could do it. And I'll leave it at that. This is going back to what you can leverage in terms of technology. There are plenty of website building platforms. So you have WordPress, Wix, Weekly, GoDaddy, Squarespace, Shopify. If you're selling physical products, they're great. Samcart is awesome for digital products. And then you have Bubble.io and Make. This is where you go if you want to develop your own app. A lot of people may start there and then they may advance into, a more permanent solution. However, I will say this, both Bubble and Make have had people move on to their platform, even after leaving one of these, either enhancing or creating their app and then taking it to market, possibly being acquired or just making a fortune. So don't count them short. These guys are awesome. Domain names and hosting. A lot of your web builders now will offer you some sort of hosting or domain names. So, again, you get that from WordPress, Bluehost, HostGator, GoDaddy. You get the idea. Just about anywhere. Domain names and hosting. Many of these domain and hosting platforms also provide domain-specific email. So again, you will require someone that knows what they are doing to assemble this for you. Even though it's pretty simple, some of them can be a bit more complex than others. So you want to make sure that everything is routed properly. Typically, the same person that builds your website at no extra cost per the project and establish these details up front, make sure that they do it because they will know all of your details and you don't want 7 or 8 different people logging in or, having access to your back end, okay? Ask for samples of previous work before you get started with anyone. And I must state that, again, I just stated it a few minutes ago, but this is a note to myself. I've not come across anyone who has said they could not do something when developing apps. So just be mindful of this on the freelancer platforms. Domain names and hosting. So domain names are sometimes free with your hosting packages from providers. It could be anywhere from $25 to $30 per month or even a year. I'm serious. So it just depends on where you go. An example would be perhaps, at the time I was looking, WordPress pricing versus HostGator. It's like two different worlds. So email packages in some cases may be free. It could be included in an annual plan or a monthly plan, or it could be $5, $10, or say $10, but then each additional individual that you like to add on or each additional email address with the unique domain name may be an additional $2. Just be careful when you're reviewing the packages. Make sure that they include everything that you need. A lot of them have restrictions as to how much information or data you can hold. So if it's too cheap, just make sure that it's going to be sufficient for whatever it is that you're looking to achieve. And again, your freelancer will be able to assist you with that. Going back to the email packages, again, sometimes even includes a neat promo on the email packages, if you get the domain or web hosting as well. So be mindful of how many email addresses you should require and the amount of storage space. After describing your project to your site builder or your freelancer, ask how much bandwidth you should require within a plan if you do require one. a plan. Some projects may even require cloud storage. So a good freelancer will be able to provide an accurate idea upon discussing your project because each one is going to be unique. You will constantly be morphing. You will constantly change. This does not stay the same. You may even switch platforms multiple times. Improving tech over time on your current budget. Considering Bubble.io or Make.io or even OutSystems.com provides solid apps and some customization. These systems are great. I have seen, or at least as per Bubble, Make, and OutSystems, full disclosure, a lot of companies are picking up some traction and they are really hitting it big. So take the time to learn how to use these platforms. Bubble.io is a no-code platform. The very same with Make.io, and OutSystems is low-code. However, they have low-code, which you can also couple with templates that they provide. More than likely, it would save you quite a bit of money and time. Alternatively, you may use Builder AI, but again, they're going to be on the more expensive side. So they will outright say to you, hey, look, we can provide you with a template. You provide us the details of your project, and the price can be anywhere from $5,000 to $55,000 or even $60,000 plus. There's a lot of variance between the time in which it will take to complete each project. It just really depends upon how complex it is. I believe their e-com platform or their e-com package, at one point it used to be free. I think now it may only be like a couple $100 per month, but it's supposed to be a rather comprehensive plan. You should be able to customize that too. The customization options will bump you. So every time you add something, it's almost like, a la carte. So every time you add something, it's going to push your price up. So keep that in mind. Then we have custom solutions through a major firm. So after you scale, at this point, you're generating revenues, and these firms are going to charge you no less than $70,000, in some cases even $125,000 to $475,000 or more, some even in the millions. So make sure that you have established your customer base. You are 110% certain that your idea is working, i.e. you've scaled, you've generated revenues, and then when you go this route is really to enhance the customer experience, make it seamless, make the situation or the environment a bit more sticky, make it faster, offer more options. But when you first start, you will have the core. What's the one, maybe two main things that the customer will be interested in? What's going to drive them to the platform? And from there, once you really grow and generate some solid revenues and maybe even add on a couple people to your team, that's when you move over here. You expand, you put money back into your company, making it more robust. Got it? So continue to grow from there, and then 6 to 12 months, possibly 18 months to build out something like this. Maybe even longer. These guys don't move fast, and even if they are moving fast, conventionally, that version of fast is not what you think. So just be prepared. Always be rebuilding to improve and enhance the customer experience. Once you gain traction, that's when you will add more features. You'll make it faster in terms of execution, less site resistance, smoother operation, better graphics, more direct text, fewer buttons, improved layouts, customized menus for your app, etc.